Chapter 14. There now, I have explained it all for you, how it works, its very reason and purpose. How else can I serve you? There's nothing more I could ask. I am filled with thanks for this incredible dialogue. It's been so far reaching, so encompassing, and as I look at my original questions, I see we've covered the first five having to do with life and relationships, money and careers, and health. I had more questions on that original list, as you know, but somehow these discussions make those questions seem irrelevant. Yes, still you ask them. Let's just quickly answer the remainder of them one by one now that we are moving this rapidly through the material. What material? The material I brought you here to expose you to. Now that we are moving this rapidly through this material, let's just take those remaining questions and deal with them quickly. Number 6. What is the karmic lesson I'm supposed to be learning here? What am I trying to master? You are learning nothing here. You have nothing to learn. You only have to remember. That is, remember me. What are you trying to master? You're trying to master mastering itself. Number 7. Is there such thing as reincarnation? How many past lives have I had? What was I in them? Is karmic debt a reality? It is difficult to believe there is still a question about this. I find it hard to imagine. There have been so many reports from thoroughly reliable sources of past life experiences. Some of these people have brought back strikingly detailed description of events and such completely verifiable data as to eliminate any possibility that they were making it up or had contrived or to somehow deceive researchers and loved ones. You have had 647 past lives since you insist on being exact. This is your 648th. You were everything in them: a king, a queen, a serf, a teacher, a student, a master, a male, a female, a warrior, a pacifist, a hero, a coward, a killer, a savior, a sage, a fool. You have been all of it. No, there is no such thing as karmic debt, not in the sense that you mean in this question. A debt is something that must or should be repaid. You are not obligated to do anything. Still, there are certain things that you want to do, choose to experience, and some of these choices hinge on the desire for them has been created by what you have experienced before. This is as close as words can come to this thing you called karma. If karma is the innate desire to be better, to be bigger, to evolve and to grow, and to look at past events and experiences as a measure of that, then yes, karma does exist. But if it does not require anything, nothing is ever required. You are, as always you have ever been, a being of free choice. Number 8, I sometimes feel very psychic. Is there such a thing as being psychic? Am I that? Are people you claim to be psychic trafficking with the devil? Yes, there is such a thing as being psychic. You are that. Everyone is that. There is not a person who does not have what you call psychic ability. There are only people who do not use it. Using psychic ability is nothing more than using your sixth sense. Obviously, this is not trafficking with the devil. or I would not have given this sense to you. And of course, there is no devil with whom to traffic. Someday, perhaps in book two, I'll explain you exactly how psychic energy and psychic ability works. There is going to be a book two. Yes, but let's first finish this one first. Is it okay to take money for doing good? If I choose to do healing in the world, God's work, can I do that and become financially abundant too? Or are the two mutually exclusive? I've already covered this. Is sex okay? Come on, what is the real story behind this human experience? Is sex purely for procreation, as some religions say? Is true holiness and enlightenment achieved through denial or transmutation of the sexual energy? Is it okay to have sex without love? Is just the physical sensation of it okay enough as a reason? Of course, sex is okay. Again, if I didn't want you to play certain games, I wouldn't have given you the toys. Do you give your children things you don't want them to play with? Play with sex, play with it. It's wonderful fun. Why? It's just about the most fun you can have with your body if you are talking of strictly physical experiences alone. But for goodness sake, don't destroy sexual innocence and pleasure and purify of the fun and purity of the fun, the joy by misusing sex. Don't use it for power or hidden purpose, for ego gratification or domination, for any other purpose other than the purest joy and the highest ecstasy given and shared, which is love and love recreated, which is new life. Have I not chosen a delicious way to make more of you? With regard to denial, I have dealt with that before. Nothing holy has ever been achieved through denial. Yet, desires change as even larger realities are glimpsed. It is not unusual, therefore, for people to simply desire less or even no sexual activity, or for that matter, any of a number of activities of the body. For some, the activities of the soul become foremost and by far the most pleasurable, each to its own, without judgment. That is the motto. The end of your question is answered this way. You don't need to have a reason for anything. Just be cause. Be the cause of your experience. Remember, experience produces concepts of self. Conception produces creation, and creation produces experience. You want to experience yourself as a person who has sex without love. Go ahead. You'll do that until you don't want to anymore. And the only thing that could ever cause you to stop this or any other behavior or any behavior is your newly emerging thought about who you are. It is as simple and as complex as that. So when the author is now talking about basically, are there past lives, are there reincarnation, or, how is it that karmic debts are created, or what exactly do you mean when we talk about the buzzword karma, is nothing but a law of cause and effect. अगर आपने एक फील्ड में एक जगह एप्पल का सीड बोया है and similarly right across the apple you've sown a seed of, say, mushroom. Now what will happen if you water it well? The apple seed will grow into an apple tree because that's the seed that has been sown by you. And whereas where you have, sown the seed of mushroom, you will get a mushroom, no matter what the seed is. that seed of apple is not going to give you mangoes, or that seed of mushroom is not going to give you any other thing other than a mushroom. This is basically what the law of karma states, is you sow, you reap what you sow. So जो भी आज आप सीड लगा रहे हो करंट लाइफ में, और हो सकता है किसी पास्ट लाइफ में, जो आपके साथ हो रहा है is a direct result of that seed what you've sown. So if you're sowing the seeds of love, you will get love. But if you sow the seeds of, say, resentment, yes, there will be a lot of resentment. And it is very difficult to actually say whether, it is coming from whatever is happening or manifesting in your space is coming from this lifetime or probably a past lifetime. I mean, how do you explain a newborn born with a hole in the heart? He has no karmas of this life. But if he is born in that state, that means it has to do definitely with some of his past incarnations where there was a situation where probably he was the victim or the victimizer. Depends. I mean, there is no hard and fast rule. And the interesting thing about karma, which everybody feels, कि अगर कुछ bad karma है, honestly, good and bad is again a creation of the mind. Karma is karma. अच्छे बुरे हमने बनाए. Karma is nothing. It is a law, cause and effect. आपने जो बीज बोया आपको उसकी फसल मिल रही है. Is as simple as that. It is as it is. ये good है कि bad है, again perception of the mind. Karma is karma. Good karma, bad karma, azad. How people actually then interpret them is to the fact that certain karmas get you to a better or a higher realm of consciousness. They are actually coded as good karmas, and certain acts of yours cause seeds of yours actually cause you to get to lower realms of consciousness. पुराने जमाने में बोलते थे अच्छे कर्म करोगे तो स्वर्ग में जाओगे, बुरे कर्म करोगे तो नरक में जलोगे. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है. Heaven and hell are states created by the mind or propagated and proliferated by the religions as a weapon of fear and exploitation of fear. What you mean is if you do certain things which causes harm to others, you will experience that exact pain that you have caused, and nothing can stop that. If that is what you call a state of hell, then yes, that is a state of hell, because you will experience it living here. It's said that when you have non-veg, no offense to any non-vegetarians here, I was also a non-vegetarian at one point of time. So whenever you have non-veg, whatever is the pain that that animal goes through is a karma created by you of pain to that animal because you are consuming it. So the entire exact pain जो आपने create की है in that animal, nobody can, take that pain away from you. So you will experience that same pain. And that is where the karma will get balanced. It is not कि आज मैंने कुछ गलत किया है या मैंने नॉन वेज खाया है, पेन टू एनिमल्स किया है, आज मैं एनिमल्स के लिए एक एनजीओ खोल देता हूँ and start doing good service. Karma never gets set off. That's the beauty and the uniqueness of it. अगर आपने कोई कर्मा क्रिएट किया है जिससे वो किसी को पेन हुई है, you will have to experience that pain. And if you do certain things which help others, उसका भी इफेक्ट आपको मिलेगा, but that does not set off your bad karmas. It is not an account balance of debit credit कि हमने डेबिट एंट्री ज्यादा कर दी तो अब हम क्रेडिट करके उसको बैलेंस कर दें. That two separate accounts working under the same field, under the same name, but you will have to experience and go through the entire the harvest of whatever is it that you have sown, and it never gets compensated. It's a myth. So जो वो hell or heaven भी है, it's a myth. It happens here and there. So if you're going through a state of pain, yes, probably chances are maybe it is because of some thing that was created in earlier lives or past lives or any other thing, but never gets compensated. Because, and it's very nicely at the end he sums it up. Everything has its own beauty. हर एक चीज की एक अपनी एक यूनिकनेस है, चाहे वो पेन की है, चाहे वो प्लेजर की है, चाहे वो सपोजिटली गुड कर्मा की है या सपोजिटली बैड कर्मा की है. एवरीथिंग हैज इट्स ओन यूनिकनेस. कभी भी किसी भी एक्सपीरियंस को अपनी जजमेंट से हमें नहीं देखना. वी नीड टू बी ओपन बिकॉज वी आर हियर टू एक्सपीरियंस दैट. बिकॉज जब हम यहाँ पे आ रहे हैं, एवरीथिंग हैज टू बी एक्सपीरियंस. सो and we are here on earth because there is a karmic baggage. The day we finish this karmic baggage or whatever supposedly good we've created और उसके हमें rewards मिल गए हैं, and supposedly bad we've created और उसको हमने balance करके we've experienced the exact same, that means there is no karmic baggage. End of planet Earth, life of planet Earth ends. All past lives, everything ends. So if we are here in this planet, in a human being, as a human being, there is a karmic baggage. Because agar wo nahi hoga, to we will not be here. So it's very clear that we understand everybody has a karmic baggage. That is why they are here. And everybody is here to complete that karmic experience and evolve from this life as a human being on planet Earth to a better or a different universe. Number 11. Why did you make sex so good, so spectacular, so powerful a human experience if all we are to do is to stay away from it as much as we can? What gives for that matter? Why are all fun things either immoral, illegal, or fattening? I've answered the end of this question too with what I have just said. All fun things are not immoral, illegal, or fattening. Your life is, however, an interesting exercise in defining what fun is. To some, fun means sensation to the body. To others, fun may be something entirely different. It all depends on who you think you are and for what you are doing here. There is much more to be said about sex than is being said here, but nothing more essential than this. Sex is joy, and many of you have made sex everything else, but sex is sacred too, yes. But joy and sacredness do mix. They are, in fact, the same thing. And many of you think they do not. Your attitudes about sex from a microcosm of your attitudes about life. Life should be a joy, a celebration. It has become an experience of fear, anxiety, not enoughness, envy, rage, and tragedy. The same can be said about sex. You have repressed sex, even as you have repressed life, rather than fully self-expressing with abandon and joy. You have shamed sex, even as you have shamed sex, calling it evil and wicked rather than the highest gift and the greatest pleasure. Before you protest that you have not shamed life, look at all, look at your collective attitudes about. Four-fifths of the world's people consider life a trial, a tribulation, a time of testing, a karmic debt that must be paid, a school with harsh lessons that must be learned, and in general, an experience to be endured while awaiting the real joy, which is after death. It is a shame that so many of you think this way. Small wonder you have applied shame to the very act which creates life. The energy which underscores sex is the energy which underscores life, which is life. The feeling of attraction and the intense and often urgent desire to move towards each other, to become one, is the essential dynamic of all that lives. I have built it into everything in its inbred, inherent, inside all that is. The moral codes, religious constrictions, social taboos, and emotional conventions you have placed around sex, and by the way, around love and all of life, have made it virtually impossible for you to celebrate your being. From the beginning of time, all man has ever wanted is to love and be loved. And from the beginning of time, man has done everything in his power to make it impossible to do that. Sex is an extraordinary expression of love, love of another, love of self, love of life. You ought to therefore love it. And you do, you just can't tell anyone you do. You don't dare show how much you love it, or you'll be called a pervert. Yes, this is the idea that is perverted. In our next book, we shall look at sex much more closely, explore its dynamics in greater detail, for this is an experience, an issue of sweeping implications on a global scale. For now and for you personally, simply know this: I have given you nothing shameful, least for all your very body and its functions. There is no need to hide your body or its functions, nor your love of them and of each other. Your television programs think nothing of showing naked violence, but shrink from showing naked love. Your whole society reflects that priority. Number 12, is there life on other planets? Have we been visited by it? Are we being observed now? Will we see evidence irrevocable and indisputable of extraterrestrial life in our lifetime? Does each form of life have its own God? Are you the God of it all? Yes to the first part, yes to the second, yes to the third. I cannot answer the fourth part, since that would require me to predict the future, something I am not going to do. We will, however, talk a great deal about this thing called the future in book 2, and we will talk about extraterrestrial life and the nature of God in book 3. Oh my gosh, there's going to be a book 3? Let me outline the plan here. Book 1 is to contain basic truths, primary understandings, and address essential personal matters and issues. Book 2 is to contain far more reaching truths, grander understandings, and address global matters and issues. Book 3 is to contain the largest truths we are now capable of understanding and address universal matters and issues, matters being dealt with by all the beings of the universe. I see this is the order. No, if you can ask that question, you have understood nothing in this book. You have chosen to do this work and you have been chosen. The circle is complete. Do you understand? Yes. Number 13. Will Utopia ever come to planet Earth? Will God ever show himself to Earth's people as promised? Is there such a thing as the second coming? Will there ever be an end of the world or an apocalypse or prophecies in the Bible? Is there a one true religion? If so, which one? That's a book in itself and will comprise much of volume 3. I've kept this opening volume limited to more personal matters, more practical issues. I'll move to larger questions and matters of global and universal implication in succeeding installments. Is that it? Is that all for now? Are we to speak no more here? You miss me already? I do. This has been fun. Are we quitting now? You need a little rest, and your readers need a rest too. There is a lot here to absorb, a lot to wrestle with, a lot to ponder. Take some time off, reflect on this, ponder it. Do not feel abandoned, as I am always with you if you have questions, day to day questions, as I know you do even now and will continue to. Know that you can call on me to answer them. You don't need to form of this book. This is not the only way I speak to you. Listen to me in the truth of your soul. Listen to me in the feelings of your heart. Listen to me in the quiet of your mind. Hear me everywhere, whenever you have a question. Simply know that I have answered it already. Then open your eyes to your world. My response could be an article already published, in the sermon already written and about to be delivered, in the movie now being made, in the song just yesterday composed, in the words about to be said by a loved one, in the heart of a new friend about to be made. My truth is the whisper of the wind, the babble of the brook, the crack of the thunder, the tap of the rain. It is the feel of the earth, the fragrance of the lily, the warmth of the sun, the pull of the moon. My truth, as you surest help in time of need, is an awesome as the night sky, and as simply incontrovertibly trustful as a baby's gurgle. It is as loud as a pounding heartbeat and as quiet as a breath taken in unity with me. I will not leave you. I cannot leave you, for you are my creation and my product, my daughter and my son, my purpose and myself. Call on me, therefore, wherever and whenever you are separate from the peace that I am, I will be there with truth and light and love. So when he's talking about in the end, each and everything in life, chahe we are talking about sex or we're talking about life in general, is actually a celebration in itself. But somehow हमारे mind में over the passage of time, religion ने over the passage of time, हमारे belief system ने हमें ये चीज को एक्सेप्ट करने में बहुत ज्यादा hurdles क्रिएट किए हुए हैं, which actually make us into this, form this opinion that life is hard or life is difficult. Life is as simple as you make it, and life is as complex as you make it. And remember, simple भी आप ही बना रहे हो, कॉम्प्लेक्स भी आप ही बना रहे हो. उस लाइफ को सेलिब्रेशन भी आप ही बना रहे हो, फेयरफुल भी आप ही बना रहे हो, लविंग भी आप ही बना रहे हो. एवरीथिंग स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम योर perception of the mind. In itself, life is a celebration. It's just the whims and fancies of the egoic mind कि हमें लगता है कि नहीं यार इसमें तो कुछ लोचा है, कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. Life is truly blessed. Until that time, this prana, this breath is there. It's a fantastic life. उसके बाद there is no life for the body.